Welcome to The Business Coach, a show in which you out to help entrepreneurs better their businesses. Tonight on the show, we're going to be discussing quite an interesting subject, agribusiness. And joining me will be Caleb Karuga. But before we get to engage in our conversation, here's a brief bio of Caleb Karuga. Caleb Karuga is the founder of Wendy Farm that has interest in poultry business, dairy business, and kale business. He is a former journalist and currently boasts of over a decade experience in agribusiness, having 3 farms in Kikuyu, Thika, and Kirinyaga. Caleb, how are you doing?
I'm doing fine.
I think I should call you goat because
with goat milk.
I wish I was with you at the farm. It's been quite a while, but Corona has happened.
It's okay.
How are you doing? How are you faring?
I'm doing very well, I thank God.
Nice seeing you after quite a while. So let's just start this. I want just to start this conversation by finding out, has the agribusiness been affected? Because I'm talking to so many entrepreneurs and so many industries have been affected. How much have you been affected? How about in the essential?
Well, personally, yes, I'm essential services. Personally, I haven't been affected that much. I think the only part of my business that has been affected is delivery of chicks across the country, say out of Nairobi, but we get papers whenever we need and then we're able to transport. But I think there's so many people who are now getting into agriculture because COVID has rendered many people jobless, job cuts also. Yeah. So the decision to get into agriculture is being made overnight. Yes. So we have a huge order of people booking for chicks. They want goat, they want vegetables. So it's been a good season for me, I must admit.
You can't complain.
I'm not complaining at all.
Interesting. And mentioning about job cuts, at one particular point you happened to be at the fire line, I think like almost 10 years ago. And interestingly enough, for you, you prayed to be fired. Why exactly was that so?
I had planned to work for maximum 4 years, then I get into my own hustle. So by my 4th, 5th year, I was like, I think I'm tired of this employment, and it's good. I was a journalist. I was enjoying what I was doing. But in 2010, I started my hustle. This is what I started farming. I was doing chicken, I was doing goats, I was doing pigs, I was doing quails, and anything between. And the business was gaining traction. Also, I thought. Yeah. So I started praying, now that the farm is giving me good money, it's about time I quit. Yeah. And when I tried to resign, I was being given a salary increment. So I said, you know what, this thing is not working. So I think I need to resign, because they told me if you resign, we are going to pay you almost half a year's salary and the number of years you've worked. And that made a lot of business sense to me. So I prayed to be fired, and one morning, 72 of us were laid off. And I think that was the best day of my life, because I cashed the check and then came here to the farm and continued farming. So for me, I had a soft landing because I had started farming in 2010, but we were declared redundant in 2013. So I didn't struggle so much when I left the media.
All right. With the happenings that's going on right now, there's a lot of, salary cuts and people trying to fend for a living. I'm seeing a lot of people going into agribusiness. But how exactly was it for you? Because I know you started out as a side hustle. What triggered you into this, and how exactly were you juggling between your work and your side hustle back then?
It wasn't that easy initially, because I was used to a structured program. Like, you go to the office at 8, you leave at 5, 6, sometimes at even 9 p.m. So I found myself with a lot of free time and a lot of introspection time, because now you're here, you're your own boss. So all decisions you make could make or break the company. The transition, again, was a bit easier from media to farming, because on my free time, when I was employed, I would come here to the farm. I would sneak from office, say 6, 7 p.m. and I'd dash here and see how the chicken are doing. So I was able to transition a bit easier because I had time to transition. However, I came to the farm with the illusion that I would make it so big in the first couple of months.
Yes.
Because this is what most people are probably have found themselves in. You started a side hustle, it appears to be making money, so you quit in a half to go to your hustle.
Yeah.
But you haven't gone through a learning curve, and I hadn't gone through a learning curve. I thought 2.5 years of having done it as a side hustle is going to, work out, but it didn't, because I was hit when we were doing the quail farming. I thought I was going to be a millionaire.
Really, you also you fell for the trap.
I can't. That time I couldn't call it trap. Now I call it a trap. I call it a pyramid scheme. But at that time, everything seemed to be making sense.
So at one point,
a quail egg was going for 100 shillings.
Wow,
It was going for 100 shillings.
Do you know someone who's ever bought a quail egg for 100, Bob?
Nobody. But I can explain. We were the breeder to breeder stage. We were not at farmer to consumer stage. We never got to that stage. So at that time, when we were selling an egg at 100, but we were selling to someone else who's going to go and hatch that egg and get a quail and sell a quail at 200, 300 shillings. Yeah. So we all reached a plateau and realized, oh my gosh, we do not have a consuming culture of these quail eggs and quail meat.
Interesting.
And that's when the business started to go down, because people are rushing into projects. They haven't really thought it through. You've left your employment, you've been fired, God forbid, and you're there thinking, I'll be the next mushroom farmer because you've watched a YouTube clip on mushroom farming.
Yes.
But I want you to come down and ask yourself, do we really as Kenyans have a mushroom consuming culture? Do we have a goat milk consuming culture? This is my 10th year in farming, and I got into dairy goat farming seriously 3 weeks ago. 3 weeks ago.
Wow.
Because I've had to understand, are Kenyans going to consume goat milk or cow milk? Can they afford it? So some of the mistakes I was making is because I thought I want to be the unique farmer. I want to get into quail farming. I want to get into rabbit farming. But ask yourself, how many Kenyans or how many restaurants or hotels are you going to go to, and on the menu they have rabbit meat?
No, it's true.
I mean, ask yourself those honest questions. Don't be so psyched up and hyped up by the media.
No,
Come to the farm, I will tell you it doesn't work like that.
You happened at one point to be at this side.
I've been there before, and it doesn't work like that.
At what are some of the mistakes you made, especially when you were still juggling between your job and what's it called, and farming back then? What are some of the mistakes that when you look back, you're like, that you can advise any person? Because I know right now, as you'd mentioned, a lot of people are rushing into agribusiness as a side hustle to try and make ends meet. What are some of the mistakes you made?
The mistakes I made was relying or making an investment decision based on a 3-minute YouTube clip or reading a newspaper headline, 2, 3, 4 paragraphs or half a page about strawberry farming, and I thought that's it. So the mistake I was making is, I'm employed, I read an article and I say, wow, this guy is making 100K per month. He is on a quarter of an acre, I'm on a whole acre, so I can actually make 3-4 times more than him. That was very wrong of me, making decisions based on what I read without having done my due diligence, going to several farms. Not just this one guy who was featured in the same article, because some of the figures were kind of massaged.
Of course.
Right?
Yes.
So you need to go to several farms, interrogate the numbers, crunch them together, like, is it really working? I didn't understand about a consuming culture, like I said a few minutes ago. Another mistake I made is I trusted people very easily, and people here were the people working for me. Just because a guy is 52, 53 years old and is my employee, I trusted him as my father, that he's going to take care of my chicken. But this is the guy who was stealing chicken from me. So I learned not to, you're laughing. I learned never to trust people.
Yeah.
Right? People are there to be managed. People are there to be led. But just because someone is older than you doesn't mean that they have your best interest at heart. True. It doesn't always work like that.
All right.
And before, another mistake I made.
All right. So, Caleb, I want to just, before we go on a break, I know you've hustled, you've done quite a number of projects. I want you to just take me some of the projects you've worked on, and then after the break, you're going to be going through some of the failures you've had. What are some of the lessons you can share to our audience? I see right now you're on goat milk. I know you're in
Big
chicken.
goat milk.
I know you've done chicken. What other projects have you done, especially in the agribusiness?
I've done pig farming, I've done cow farming. Actually, where we are used to be a cattle shed. The cows died. I'll tell you once we come from the break. I did rabbit farming.
Yeah.
I failed miserably in that one. A couple of months ago, before COVID, actually, I got into chili farming, bullet chili farming. I have failed miserably on that one. I have failed.
Yeah.
What else did I do? I have doing catfish farming now. I do strawberry farming. I failed. And goat, I failed. Now I'm back at it again.
You're back at it.
I'm back at it. And this time, I think I got it right now. I think I got it.
Awesome, awesome. So after the break, you're going to be handling that. So we're going to take a short commercial break, but don't touch that dial, but keep it right here on The Business Coach, where we help entrepreneurs better their businesses.